Hi there, it's Rob here from the British Forces Resettlement Services, and today I'll be talking to Roger from the Online Business School about Enhanced Learning Credits and ELCAS. Well then, my first question to you then, Roger, is what is ELCAS and what does it stand for?
So ELCAS is a MOD portal. It stands for Enhanced Learning Credits Administration Service, and it's the portal that allows armed forces personnel and service leavers to access any number of a range of different courses to enable them to get new skills, new qualifications when they go on Civvy Street.
My second question to you is, how does the ELCAS programme benefit military personnel?
It's a great scheme. There's lots of different courses that the service personnel can do. The main benefit to service personnel is they get funding. So the MOD will fund 80% of the cost of the course up to a certain level, according to what your Enhanced Learning Credit or ELC allowance is. And we can come on to that a little bit later. As a service leaver or ex-service personnel, you will pay 20% contribution. So it's a fantastic way to get qualifications at a fraction of the cost that it will cost anyone else that would just want to do one of our courses.
So what is the eligibility criteria for ELCAS?
This is where it can get a little bit tricky. They don't make it easy. So it's, in a nutshell, you have to have served for a minimum of 6 years, and then you get Tier 1 allowance. When you've served 8 or more years, you go on to Tier 2 allowance, and the Tier 1 is £1,000, and 3 lots of that to be used over 3 different years. And Tier 2 is £2,000 enhanced learning credit.
So Roger, can claimants book more than one course at a time?
Good question. We have got been asked that question before, and yes, we have had claimants put the 2 courses or 2 different levels on our courses. So they might have done level 3 accountancy and then level 4 accountancy and finance. The key here is they need to do the application with one provider. You can't do 2 separate. The courses are with 2 separate providers. That is not allowed because you're only allowed to make 1 claimant per financial year. Financial year runs from the 1st of April to the 31st of March.
Is there a time limit on leaving the forces that you use your ELCAS?
Yes, so you can use it when you're in resettlement. You can use it when you hit those certain criteria. So at 6 years, you'll be able to apply for your enhanced learning credit. One of the benefits is that once you've left the service, you can hold back a couple of your ELCs, and I always recommend that because you get 5 years after you've left the service to actually use your enhanced learning credits. And it might be that you've used one and you think, well, I'll hold back 1 or 2 because when I get on Civvy Street, I might actually change direction because the first job that you go to on Civvy Street might not be what you end up ultimately doing. So hold 1 or 2 of your credits back, and then that will give you the opportunity to get new skills and qualifications in a different pathway for you.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's something we talk to people about at the events, prior to the events, have a look around the education.
Yeah.
But speak to companies because it might be a course that's provided at the events where people can use their ELCAS.
Absolutely. We at Online Business School offer a range of different courses, but my advice, and when I talk to service personnel, is really about IAG. It's about the information, the advice, and the guidance. So we will have a whole range of courses that aren't necessarily going to be suitable for every single person that we speak to. But for me, I'm passionate about helping armed forces personnel, either veterans or still serving, because it can be very daunting looking at resettlement and going onto Civvy Street. If you imagine some of the people that we speak to have joined the army, for example, when they're 16, They haven't had any qualifications. They haven't had much on the way through, and they might have served 23 years, in the services, and then all of a sudden it's, oh, I'm going on Civvy Street. Human nature, we always tend to leave these things to the last minute. So even though they've got, most people should know that they've got this enhanced learning credit, but they leave it very late. But as I said, you've got those 5 years after you have left, but it's always advisable to start looking when you're in that resettlement period, which is 2 years before you leave. Because if you wanted to do an accredited course, that could take you 2 years. And for a future employer to say that you've done the course and you've got the certificate, you're a lot more marketable to them than if you've only just started the course.
So what types of educational programs can be funded for ELCAS?
There's a whole raft of different courses, and the ELCAS portal itself can be quite bewildering. You can search for a provider. If you know a particular provider, you can search on location putting your postcode in there. And there's anything and everything from construction trades, academic courses, that are the ones that we run. There's the new green energy courses. So whatever floats your boat, there will be a course in there for you. But price has got to be right for you as well. So my advice would be, do your research, do your due diligence on finding out where you want to be, and that. So when you go from, you're at A now, B is your destination on Civvy Street. Once you know what you want to do, that pathway, that's when ELCAS comes in, and you can properly do your research. Talk to as many people as you can. Attend BFRS career fairs, at the various garrisons. They are brilliant opportunities to ask employers, as well as training providers like ourselves, the questions that you need answering.
How does the application process for ELCAS work for serving personnel and veterans?
There's two different routes. You get a link, which I can direct people to, but essentially it's an online application form, quite straightforward. You've got to find and speak to your training provider to make sure that the course is relevant to you and they meet the right sort of eligibility criteria. And then once your application form has been sent to your education staff, that gets signed off. They will then produce a CAN form, which is a claim authorization note. That gets sent to the appropriate school or training provider. That allows them to then process the application with the MOD.
Now, this is something I often get asked. This question is, does ELCAS just cover the course costs, or is it used for other things, possible transport, accommodation, things like that?
For us, it will just be the course cost, because we offer online courses that can be anytime, anywhere, delivery. So there's no accommodation costs, with us. I believe that it doesn't cover things like disbursements, like accommodation or travel, but you might then be able to use your standard learning credits or IRTC for things like that, or contributions towards it.
It's good to know.
Yeah.
Can the claimants aggregate all of their learning credits?
Great question. Because again, it can get confusing, and people think that, okay, I've got 6K here to use, can I pull them all together? So the only time that you can do that with the ELCAS program is when you're in between 6 and 8 years on the lower tier. So that means you've got 3 lots of 1K, so 3K to use. And yes, you can aggregate those to make one claim. But it's worth bearing in mind that the claim that you're making needs to be worth it, because if the course is only costing you say £1,200 or £1,400, then is it worth aggregating? Because you can't aggregate 2K, you have to aggregate all 3, and then you're going to lose what residue that you're not using. So think carefully about aggregating before you go ahead with it.
So, Roger, can ELCAS be used to fund online or distance learning?
Absolutely. As I said, there's a whole host of different courses that people can do. Some people prefer classroom-based learning because that's what they've been used to. But what the online and distance learning gives you is the flexibility, the ability to do the study in your own time, anytime, any place, anywhere in the world. As long as you've got your login details, you can log in 24/7, 365 days a year. And you fit the learning around your commitments. So that's your work commitments, your lifestyle, your stuff at home. You can take extended breaks if need be. So if you go on deployment, you can just pause your learning and then pick it back up again. It really is that flexible.
So it's just another quick question on that. Is there like a time span on the course? Do you have to have done it over a period of time? I know courses are different, what.
Yeah. I mean, effectively, for example, our level 4 and level 5 courses, they're equivalent to your first and second year of a university degree. So in effect, if you were going there on campus, that's 9 months of learning, an academic year. Given that it's distance learning, you'll be doing it part-time, fitting it around your commitments. On average, you would take about 12 months. So really, it's about 2 years to do a level 4 and 5. That said, we've had people recently do our level 6 business administration course and completed it in 4.5 months. And that's because they've got prior knowledge and understanding of the subject area. Plus, this service personnel was working nights, and they allowed him to do 8 hours of learning out of the 12 hours that he was on shift. So he just used all of that time just to sail through the course.
Well, Roger, I can see that the company, the online business school, do a lot of courses. So I'm going to ask you the question, what is the most popular course you provide?
So it depends on what level people are exiting the forces. But overwhelmingly, the most popular course is our level 7 strategic management and leadership course. Because a lot of, officers, warrant officers and the like, they've had leadership training, leadership courses in the forces themselves, but they want to have some accredited qualifications to go with that. Our level 7 strategic management and leadership course ultimately leads to an MBA. So by using your ELCAS to do the level 7, which a lot of them sail through because they got the management experience as well as the knowledge, they can then do the final top up at one of our partner universities for the MBA, and that would just take the form of either one extra module or a dissertation. And what a fantastic way to get an MBA for a fraction of the cost that it would cost if they went on campus, because you're looking at over £45,000 if you did it on campus. Yeah.
So obviously we've got an event coming up in Tidworth in September. I know you've attended a Tidworth event before, and
yeah.
I hope you found it very, very good.
Absolutely, it is one of the most populated in terms of footfall. Great attendance by exhibitors, like ourselves. I've attended quite a few with you guys over the years. I've rebooked again for the rest of this season and going into 24, because it's important to raise awareness and to give that IAG that I mentioned earlier, that information, advice and guidance that the service personnel are craving for and need in order for them to make informed decisions about, what can they do and then how do they go about doing it when they're looking to transition onto Civvy Street. So yeah, we're going to be there on the 14th of September. Really looking forward to being there with you guys again. So if anyone wants to come down, we're always there, open and approachable, information, advice and guidance, and that's first and foremost. If we've got a course we can help you with, brilliant. If we don't, my mantra is I will find someone and signpost you to people that can help you.
bit of a strange question, I suppose. Or obviously, the event of career fairs, and the majority, I'd say, or a lot of the attendees come looking for employment. Do you find that it's chatting to the attendees? It can be quite difficult at times, or do they actually approach you and say, what is it you do for us?
It is difficult. I've attended lots of different exhibitions, not just careers fairs, for the forces, and you do have to have a bit of approachability yourself, because people won't naturally gravitate towards you unless they see something and they've seen your marketing material on social media and they say, right, I'm going to go and speak to Roger at online business school. So we grab them in. Not literally, and just ask them, have they used their enhanced learning credits? No is what I commonly get. I haven't used them. I don't know how to use them or what to use them on.
Yeah.
And we just give them opportunities to have a chat, receive our information, follow it up with a phone call or a WhatsApp or a Zoom meeting. And talk to them about their aspirations, what they're looking to try and achieve.
Awesome. Well, hopefully we've kind of spoke about things that the armed forces community need to know about, ELCAS and the learning credits. So thank you very much, Roger.
And thank you very much for your time.